Sarah. All day. Hell yeah.
Arm wrestling's about to take place.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, there was a big controversy this past week, and it dealt with two athletes. It was Devon Larratt and Ryan Espey. And we all know that Devon went and pulled the Canadian Nationals, and he met up with Ryan Espey in there. And, they had a heated battle. Devon kind of dominated him, but there was a lot of trash talking going back and forth. And I guess there was a lot of off the table, back and forth, so to say, Ryan Espey was saying was going on. So Ryan put in for a violation against Devon with the ethics committee, and saying that I guess he was just out of line and he didn't want to see that happen again. So Leonard, you being one of the head refs of our sport, I kind of consider you like the grandmaster referee of arm wrestling. I kind of just want to get your thoughts on that whole situation. Like, do you think it was a legit complaint that was brought up to the ethics committee?
Well, look, whether it was a legit complaint or wasn't a legit complaint, that's really up to the ethics committee to make that decision, right? I mean, just because you complain about something doesn't make it so. But on the other hand, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have the right to issue a complaint. And that's what Ryan did. Now,
hold on. One more point I got to throw in there. And Leonard, that is Ryan being the president of that organization. So I just wanted to throw that tidbit in there.
Right, and he's the president of the organization, but frankly, it's a separate committee. He has no special pull with that committee than if any other Canadian had issued a complaint. And as the official part, as a referee, there's really not much that a referee is going to be able to do at the tournament. Now, the tournament official that's running the event, they could have walked over to Ryan and said, look, dude, chill out. This is a national championship. This isn't a super match. Be respectful. And if you won't be respectful, then I'm not going to let you pull. Now, the tournament, the guy running the tournament, he had that right, and he could have done that. He obviously didn't, and I'm not faulting him for it. I'm just saying as the referee, there's not much the referee's going to do about that.
There's nothing you could do as far as warning or anything like that. And would you, if you were in that situation, that particular one, would you have stepped in and did anything?
If I was running the tournament, had nothing to do with being a referee. If I was running the tournament, I would have went over and asked him to dial it back, that this is a national championship. This isn't a professional super match thing. To dial it back, to stop doing this. And again, I'm not faulting him for it. Everybody has their own comfort level. My comfort level is a little bit different. Maybe it comes from being a referee for a long time that I'm kind of brutal and upfront about stuff. And so
you're hardened to that life. It's that referee life.
Yeah. People, I've been cursed out by more languages on earth than anybody. and I may not know what words they're using, but I get the idea, and that's fine. It obviously doesn't bother me. It's part of the deal. Frankly, a lot of people don't think about this, but the referees are the reason that there isn't physical fights at arm wrestling tournaments. There's a certain number of guys that just can't handle losing. And so if it's just something casual in a bar or somewhere like that, and the guy can't handle losing, the first thing he says is, well, then 2 out of 3. Well, then he loses the second time. And now it's you cheated or you did this or you did that, right? Well, in a tournament, they just blame the ref. It's his fault. He didn't catch it. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. And they can be mad at us, and they can say whatever. And you're expected to shrug that off. You're expected to not become emotionally invested in any particular arm wrestling match. It's part of the reason why I was so dismissive or critical of what Joey Costello did at the USAF National. I think that was totally inappropriate. What he did.
Can you I don't know that whole situation. Can you please?
Well, I mean, he had a difficult match with Austin Tevis, I think is his last.
Oh, okay.
And there was some talking going on, and Austin false started on this kid. And Austin's like really good. He's one of the elite in the United States. He really is that good. And he false started on the kid, and the kid he was arm wrestling with immediately knew that he had no chance at this. And so they said, and again, we don't have dialogue on exactly what was said, but then they set up again, and the kid just laid down. He just literally laid down. And as Austin, and so Joey called match, and as Austin left the table, he said something to Joey. It was probably not very nice. And Joey went into, it pissed him off. And he went into all kinds of hand signals. Basically, he must have done like a half a dozen hand signals, and then called match for the other kid. He took away the win. Now look, by rule, once that referee raises his hand and says match, the only way to reverse that is an official protest. It's not the referee's ability to then reverse all of his calls and give and then call some sort of unsportsmanlike conduct foul after the match is over, and then give the match to your opponent. You just can't do that. And I actually did a little not really a meme, but I kind of quipped online that we should all adopt the new Joey Costello rule, that if the arm wrestler pisses you off, then you should have the ability to reverse all your calls and call the match for your opponent. Whether they did it or not, you should have that ability, right? And of course, I was just joking, but I was upset about it. It goes to the credibility of us being official. You have to be able to handle criticism. You have to be able to not. You can be upset. You just can't let it affect you. Yeah. And I'll give you. I haven't always. I've matured in this. Like I'll never forget the time that it actually really sunk into me. We were at Lake Tahoe at our pro-am that we used to do in Lake Tahoe every year, and David Owens Sr. This is early 90s, and David Owens Sr. had intentionally pushed his opponent off of the pad, created a foul, and it was pretty obvious. And obviously called the foul on him, but I was just like morally indignant that he would just deliberately try to screw his opponent about it. And I allowed myself to get mad. I allowed myself to become emotionally invested in what happened. And Bob Brown came over to me and said, "Dude, why are you mad? Did that affect you? Did that affect you personally? Like, don't let yourself get emotionally invested in this stuff." And it stuck with me so much that when me and the other master referees with WAF created 2 sheets of how to be a better referee. And dude, it's like number 1 or number 2 on my list that we published. I obviously took that lesson to heart, and I really believe that the official, our number 1 job besides setting up a fair match and getting good goes is to be neutral, to not really care who wins or loses. It's not our fault that they elbow fouled. It's not our fault that they did X, Y, and Z. You make the calls as you see them, and it's not on us.
Yeah, I agree.